Alright, what's up guys? In today's video, we're going to be breaking down what is the current best SMG used in the brand new season. As you guys should know, the Milano was buffed massively and is now, in my opinion, one of the top 5 SMGs to use. In today's video, we're going to break down the top 8 SMGs and their recoil, mobility, overall time to kill range, and compare them head to head to give you guys which SMG I think is the best gun for you. So if you guys do enjoy the video in any way, it does help you out, please leave a like. And if you guys do enjoy the content and you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button down below. So the first thing is obviously to cover the best class setup for each gun. The one biggest difference on all these class setups is you can swap out the underbarrel for a Tiger team if you prefer, which is going to give you a massive improvement to your overall mobility. I personally think the field agent is always going to be almost the best choice, but the first thing I want to take a look at is the overall mobility of each gun. All right, so what you guys will see on the screen, this is the mobility stats of the weapons. I want to cover it first because it's real simple, quick, and easy. The one giant standout you will see here, all in green means it's good, is the Mac-10. The reason this gun is top tier is mobility. It's got the fastest reload time, the fastest straight speed, the fastest movement, and one of the fastest ADSs. And then the huge negative on the mobility class wise was the Cold War MP5, the slowest ADS and the slowest reload time by a long shot. When you go through look at the overall movement speeds, they're all within a certain percent of each other. The LC-10 and PPSH, which have the best range, are on the low end as far as mobility, which is a huge negative about those two weapons as well. So this is why the Bullfrog is also popular. Your straight speed's excellent, your movement speed's excellent, your ADS speed is incredibly fast. And then obviously with that Milano, the brand new buffed weapon, the fastest ADS, fastest movement, fastest strafe, and an okay reload. So mobility wise, it's identical to that of the Mac-10. And then recoil wise is actually better. All right, so on the screen, you guys will see the overall recoil pattern of all these weapons. This is obviously with the Task Force, Raider Stock Agency, and Field Agent to give us the best discrepancy as far as the recoil. I try to line them up so you can see how much a gun kicks more than the other weapons. The one huge standout you will see over on the far right is that of the Milano. Like I said, mobility wise is top tier in the top 3. And then when you compare the recoil to that of the LC-10, which was in a class of its own, it has less recoil by a lot. And then the recoil is very, very stable and it only pulls slightly up into the right. So LC-10 now has a direct competitor as far as the overall recoil. So the biggest standout obviously is the number 1 is the Milano. Number 2, the LC-10 is incredible. The PPSH had a lot of visual recoil, but has a pretty good recoil pattern. Obviously, Modern Warfare MP5 doesn't have much vertical recoil because you add a Merc foregrip, which chunks it hard. The Cold War MP5 recoil was terrible. Now when you add that to the overall mobility, which was on the low end, then obviously the Bullfrog had a lot of vertical recoil, but pretty stable. 74U had a lot of vertical recoil, but also pretty stable. And the Mac-10 is not as stable. Vertical recoil is pretty average. So all these guns are definitely good accuracy wise, besides the MP5s, which also don't have any range, so that kind of doesn't help them much. But the Milano definitely got a huge improvement here as far as the overall accuracy, and this is the reason the LC-10 is also as popular. Both these guns have godly range and godly accuracy. So we're going to take a look at next is going to be the overall ranges of these weapons to compare them to see which guns actually stand out in that category. So on the screen, you guys will be able to see their overall base range and then how much range they have in their second range, which I think these are the two most important numbers because a lot of these SMGs are highly accurate. You definitely be using them beyond the 15 and all the way up to about 30 meters, which a lot of these guns are very competitive. So obviously the first category, the base range, the Modern Warfare MP5, Cold War MP5 are terrible, which is a huge negative about them, but their second range is the longest out of all the SMGs. Then the one standout once again is that Milano. 24.5 meters of base range. I do prefer every gun with the agency personally, just because with the sound suppressor, you're getting like a 35% worse range. If you take 35% off that, you go down to 16, which is now below average. So the Milano and a lot of these guns are best stacked with the agency and the task force to give you the best range possible. So you can see their overall total range. The Milano is actually number 1, tied with that of the LC-10, and as accurate and the best mobility. So 3 for 3, where the Milano is an absolute standout. Obviously in the huge negatives, we have the 2 MP5s. So in their third damage range, which is now above 19.5 meters, they're doing like above 800 damage. You still have the LC-10, the Bullfrog, the PPSH, and Milano that are still in their first damage profile. So range-wise, this definitely takes the time to kill range category away from the MP5s. And then once again, with that AK-74U also. Its third damage profile, which is like above 1,000 millisecond time to kill, is beyond 22 meters. So your LC-10 is killing 400 milliseconds faster. Your Milano is killing literally twice as fast. The 74U is like 1,034. The Milano is 520, so it's 50% faster time to kill above 22 to 24 meters, which is huge and a big negative for the 74U. And once you add that recoil, which had a lot of vertical recoil, was a big negative. And then the Bullfrog, the reason I'm not a fan of it, has a good base range, about 19. Its second range is about 6 meters, which is actually the second lowest. It's a huge negative for the gun. So about 25 meters beyond. It's already in its third damage profile, which is also just like 74U, I believe like 1,000 milliseconds. So it's way, way up there. So the Milano is still doing its 500 millisecond time to kill to about the same range where the Bullfrog is now killing in 1,000. So a huge negative about the Bullfrog there. And the PPSH doesn't have a second range because it only has 2 damage profiles, which is obviously going to make the PPSH have the best range because it only drops off once, which helps keep the damage low, time to kill low, which makes the gun incredible in that category. So range-wise, the Bullfrog 74U MP5s are terrible in my opinion. Mac-10 is excellent. Its second range at 8.5 meters is really good. 19 meters base range is pretty good. And obviously LC-10 Milano, once again, outstanding in the overall range category. So now when I put those actual numbers on the screen, the overall times to kill will make a little bit more sense for you guys. So you can see, like I said, above 22 meters, that 74U is killing in 1,000 milliseconds, while still the LC-10's at 600 and the Milano is at 500. Compared to PPSH, PPSH is at 664. So 500 millisecond discrepancy, which in my opinion helps lower the overall time to kill of the 74U. Like I said, even with that Bullfrog, the one huge negative here with the Bullfrog is it does 800 millisecond time to kill on its second damage profile, which as you can see is only the second slowest compared to that of the Milano. So the Milano, when you actually look at its base time to kill, we're going to talk about a lot because this is the newly buffed weapon, 520, and the PPSH at 530. So these are the two most recent buffed weapons. Definitely top tier time to kill wise, definitely top tier range wise, and in my opinion, some of the best guns to use. So before we talk to time to kill, we're going to basically break it down based on everything we've seen so far. 74U and the Cold War MP5, in my opinion, are immediately taken out. Our 7th and 8th best SMG. We're going to take a look at the top 6 SMGs time to kill wise to compare them head to head to show you guys which guns are best. All right, so what you guys will see on the screen, this is the top 6 SMGs in my opinion. We're taking a look at their overall time to kill and up to what range to determine what is the best weapon. As you guys know, I always like to take a look at the mid and close, and then obviously a little bit longer range weapons. So the Model MP5, obviously, if the other close range weapons, the 74U and the Cold War MP5 aren't on here, the Model MP5 is the best close range weapon. The hipfire is godly. It's in a class of its own as far as recoil accuracy and hipfire accuracy. And then obviously with one headshot, your time to kill lowers, which 100% helps. But it is a close range only weapon. So we go to take a look at the Milano, the PPSH, the Bullfrog, the Mac-10, and the LC-10, which are mid to long range. The Milano has the best base range with the fastest base time to kill, which is what makes this gun incredible. You guys can see it here in white. The gun right behind it would be the PPSH, only a 10 millisecond difference, only 10% less range. These two guns are incredible time to kill wise. As far as everything else about them, they're really, really good. The one big negative they have is it takes 3 or 4 headshots to lower the time to kill, which a couple of the other guns takes at least 1 or 2. So you take a look at that Bullfrog at 559 is excellent, and a range of 19 meters is also excellent. Same with the Mac-10, about 590 with a 19 meter range, which is also excellent. Rounding out the bottom, we have the LC-10 at 608, which is a little bit on the slow end. But as far as competitiveness, when you compare it to like the Krig XM4, a lot of these other guns, 608 is average, completely average. And the range is obviously the best. The two guns that get the biggest improvement headshot-wise, number one, like I said, the MP5, one headshot lowers it down to 450, which is godly, which is what makes this gun incredibly good in the close range. And the LC-10 requires one headshot to lower it down to 530, which now makes it in line with the Milano and the PPSH, which is incredible. And obviously you guys can see into the chart on the screen, the Bullfrog and Mac-10 both require 2 headshots. So The Milano and PPSH lose out as far as the headshot improvement part of the time to kill, but as far as base time to kill with base range, these guns are godly. So when you take a look at all of these guns, excluding the Model 55, which is a close range only weapon, the LC-10, Mac-10, Bullfrog, PPSH, and Milano are all excellent. It just depends what is your personal preference. As always, I've always chosen the Mac-10 out of these 5 weapons as my favorite due to mobility. It has a good ADS, a good reload, good movement, good strafe speed with pretty good range. And then obviously it's just good everywhere. It doesn't really have anything that it lacks in. When you put that field agent on, it doesn't have the best recoil, which would be the one negative for the Mac-10. LC-10 has godly range, godly recoil, one headshot lowering ability, but mobility wise, lowest movement, lowest strafe speed, average in the reload. So it's an okay weapon. I'd still put in my top 3 with the Mac-10. And then obviously, like I said, with that Milano, has the best mobility, has the best range, the best recoil, and the fastest time to kill. So out of the 4 numbers we're looking at, recoil was number 1, base time to kill number 1, range is number 1, mobility is also number 1, and then accuracy. So everything it does it's the best out of the 5 categories we're breaking down. So the Milano is easily my top 3 with the LC-10 and the Mac-10. The PPSH time to kill wise is incredible. Mobility wise, obviously not the best. So I'd personally put the Bullfrog at number 4, and the PPSH is now number 5. As I said, the Model 55 is a close range only weapon. Doesn't really compete up against these guns. Kind of like comparing an XM4 SMG style class setup to a Krig. 2 kind of guns of different categories. They don't compare well because they are built for a different thing. So like I said, at number 1, I have the Milano. Number 2, I would take the Mac-10 by personal preference. Number 3 would be the LC-10, and then Bullfrog PPSH. That rounds out my top 5 best ranked SMGs. As I said, another big factor I really wanted to add at the very end, just to include the reason the Milano is godly and the LC-10 is also top tier, is the damage. When you take that damage improvement they just changed, and now does 43 with 55 ammo, kind of like the Holger, where they buffed it, they didn't change stuff to balance it. This gun is currently not balanced. You have the highest damage with the highest ammo count. You can do almost 2,400 damage per mag, which if you compare that to the Mac-10, the Mac-10 does 1,200. So you can kill 2 times more people with the Milano with better accuracy than that of the Mac-10. And the LC-10 was also number 3 damage per mag, about 1,700, which is pretty good, about also a 55 round mag, which is also, in my opinion, what adds to the LC-10 to rank it in the top 5, top 3 SMG in my opinion. So that's pretty much it. Hopefully I try to cover everything for you guys. Like I said, the Milano is easily right now my favorite SMG. It does have a lot of visual recoil. It's obviously a new gun. A lot of people have to learn to migrate and get used to it, but when I compare all these stats and I take a look at them, the Milano was number 1 in pretty much everything, or number 2 in everything. So the gun is just godly. It does everything. It does everything well. It has no flaws, which is what makes the gun incredible. And then when you include that damage in there, it's in a class of its own, in my opinion. So like I said, the Milano right now is the easily number 1 best SMG to use, which is incredible. Going into the new season, I never thought we would be saying the Milano is the new best SMG. Then when you factor in all those Cold War ARs getting a new barrel that improves recoil, the SMG meta is definitely going to be staying. Those Cold War ARs in the double meta still might be there with the XM4, the AK. But I think the SMGs are back on top now. And when you include that Street Super nerf, which definitely takes that out of the meta, the Milano and the Mac-10 and the LC-10 are the 3 best SMGs used right now in Warzone. So like I said, if you guys are anything new, the video did help you out, please make sure you hit the like button down below. I really would appreciate it. If you guys are new to the channel, you have not subscribed yet, 90% of you guys that watch my videos are not subscribed. Hit the subscribe button down below with notification on if you guys want to be notified every time I upload a video like this. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you.